The Defence Minister has acknowledged issues with the already troubled life extension program of Australia's ageing Collins-class submarines. It comes amid a report the work cannot be done on time and will lead to corners effectively being cut. Let's bring in Jonathan Lea from Perth. Hi there, Jonathan. Can you take us through the issue and what the Minister has had to say?
Yeah, Lee, I spoke to the Minister a short time ago. He's certainly aware of the problems when it comes to the life of type extension. It's something all agree is going to be an extremely difficult and expensive task. The Australian newspaper has a story this morning which certainly raises alarm when it comes to the life of type extension on HMAS Farkham. It's the first to undergo the LOT, as it's called. The issue, though, is that it's not going to be able to be completed effectively within the 2-year time frame. It leaves a significant and potential capability gap for the country if it can't be done, because in effect corners would be cut, potentially not replacing the main motor, the diesel engine or generators. When I was recently on a Collins-class submarine, a senior figure pointed out to me that one of the significant issues the fleet faces these days is the motors or the generators which are used. You can't simply buy replacement parts. They have to be made. It means you end up with the submarine being out of the water for longer than expected, which of course then creates significant issues for the nation. This is what the Minister had to say to me when I spoke to him.
There is a challenge, to be frank, in relation to making sure that we are able to properly extend the life of Collins. It's a challenge that I think we can meet. In relation to HMAS Farkham specifically, right now our plans are to do the full load, and the Chief of Navy affirmed that at the Senate estimates. But we will need to be smart in terms of the way in which we engage in the life of type extension of the entire class of submarines. We're going to need to do that in a way which balances putting technology on these submarines with making sure that we have the availability of them.
And Jonathan, yesterday you were given a tour of the USS Minnesota. What did you learn?
Incredibly fortunate. I hope to bring a larger story to our audience. It's certainly worth having a look at. It's rarer than hen's teeth when you get the opportunity to go on board a nuclear attack submarine, and not just one at port when it's actually in the open sea. It's a little bit like walking on land. The stability in the ocean is quite remarkable, but I suppose you get that when it's 115 metres long, which makes it longer than a football field, and roughly 130-odd crew. The point the commander was keen to point out to us, and we will show a little bit later when we bring up the full story, is that the nuclear submarine offers a real pause for thought moment. It's certainly one our government is keen to get its hands on.
Pause for thought, I think the best way to kind of explain it is, if someone wakes up and they say, is today the day, we make sure that they say, maybe not. That's the pause. The pause is maybe not. And being able to do that, whenever we need to, is what's important. That's not just important for the United States, it's important for all of our partners to work together to get to that moment.
A little scuttlebutt tells me the USS Minnesota spent a bit of time actually training with and against one of our Collins-class crew. There was plenty of time for them to actually sit down and discuss their own strategies and life on board a submarine, and how they both go about doing things incredibly differently. Of course, the Collins has to snort to recharge its batteries, but a nuclear power submarine can effectively stay at sea indefinitely. The only thing that hampers that is the need to bring on food, but it means you can roughly stay under the water for around 90 days. Quite extraordinary when you think of it.
Definitely. Super interesting. Thank you so much for that story.